darlings, welcome back to our channel. So as a temporary thing, we're going to be doing storytime videos on my bed in my bedroom for now, but eventually I'd like to get a regular setup for my sit down videos and story times. I want to bring it back to the quality of when we used to do story times regularly on the Christine D'Amour channel. Today we're going to bring it back to the old Christine D'Amour storytime days. So this is going to be actually one of the most embarrassing experiences of my life, and I never thought that I would ever talk about it because it involves a celebrity. But I decided that today we're gonna throw caution to the wind and take a dive down memory lane. And yes, I will be saying who the celebrity was. So please just be patient and watch all the way through. So the story starts off at my old job at which was a great place to work until it wasn't. So I was the social media director at this company. So I was in charge of the team that outreached to influencers on YouTube to promote the curling wands and other hair products. So in order for the story to make sense, I'm gonna have to toot my own horn a little bit and give you some context and tell you how I changed that company for the better and made them a lot of money. So when I was first hired, there was a social media department of only 2 girls. They were booking 1 influencer per week. And that means that every month they had a goal of 4 different YouTubers every month to post a video promoting. This was all what they were able to produce at the time because they had to negotiate the rate to pay each YouTuber, get the YouTubers to agree, and keep them on a timeline. So when I got there, I worked really hard because I was trying to prove myself because I was literally the only person in there that did not have a college degree. And I ended up booking on my own 10 YouTubers signed, sealed, and delivered. Now, when you're a company reaching out to influencers, it's not as easy as you would think. There's the matter of not only finding YouTubers that fit your brand, you have to ask for their demographics, you have to make sure that their audience isn't too young to purchase the items at the cost. You have to make sure that it's not mostly men who are watching them because men, let's face it, rarely buy curling wands. You have to negotiate the price, and that in itself takes a lot of back and forth, and finessing and negotiating is a real skill that not everybody can do without being intimidated. And I was the best at getting influencers or their managers to agree at the lowest rates, for the benefit of the company. So that was my job, to get a good deal on them so that the company can make even more of a profit. Now, before I started at there was actually a few big YouTubers at the time who was never able to successfully contact and work with, and they didn't know how to get in touch with them. I literally booked almost every single one of those inaccessible YouTubers, and it actually really took so much digging to get to them. And a couple of these girls didn't even have like an email or manager contact info available, so I literally had to research everyone's mom, dad, sister tag photos, or if I didn't hear back from a manager, I would even go so far as to find the manager's Pinterest page and try to contact them through there. A lot of this was actually being done on my own time. I wasn't being paid. So sooner than you think, the company started making like $700,000 per month just from my department alone. And I started needing more people to help me, so we hired more and more people to help me. And they promoted me to the director of social media eventually. I had to train every single one of these new people, and eventually we started booking 20 videos per month regularly. And I was working around the clock, responding to emails while I was at home, with my family, taking phone calls when I'm out with my family, and negotiating literally on my own time. I know that I probably shouldn't have put this much effort in, but I was on a grind so much. For me, I was trying to prove that I did not need to have a college degree to become this corporate success. So a lot of money started rolling in for the company, and the CEO was so happy and excited by all the success. I noticed that the company was reaching its point of oversaturation in the YouTube space. So eventually greed on the company's part started getting way more intense, and now they expected our department to go from booking 20 videos a month to expecting 50 videos a month. And this was the point where really started to oversaturate social media in an insane way. So many YouTubers were promoting this brand, and we kept repeating using the same YouTubers because if they did really well and their coupon made an insane amount of sales, we always booked them for like a 3 video deal, or at least we tried to. So that's why at this point when I was there, no matter where you looked on YouTube, was literally everywhere and was the top to use curling irons or hair straighteners. You literally couldn't watch a YouTuber who did not work with us. And then we hit Q4, the holidays. And so our department went into our usually daily meeting to discuss the plans for the holiday marketing. The plan was to have YouTubers to promote us in holiday get ready with me's, holiday party hair tutorials, winter morning routines, things like that. But the kicker is that they no longer wanted us to book 50 videos a month for the holidays. They now now expected us to start booking 100 videos per month. Now, remember when I first got there, the company was doing literally 4 videos a month, and they were satisfied with that. Now, because we raised the bar, they kept wanting more and more, and it was hard. We were burning ourselves out, to be honest. It equated to having 3 videos going up per day. It was the most stress that we have ever felt. Not to mention that they also asked us to stay late to respond to customer service emails until really late at night through that time of the holidays, because a lot of the orders weren't being sent out and very delayed. So after a very successful financial holiday season, they would get mad if we booked anything less than 100 videos from that point on. And if an influencer didn't sell as well as she did before, we would get reprimanded, as if we could have done something about it to change the outcome of the sales. So after the holidays, they continued to expect this amount of videos from us. They had this mentality that, well, if you were able to do it for 3 months during the holidays, what's the difference now? And there started to become a lot of toxicity brewing and intimidation on our part. We even got pulled into a meeting once and told that there was people that they could hire in China to do our job for bowls of rice, which now that I think of it, especially this day and age in cancel culture, we could have sued them for making such a racist statement like that. But we were so afraid of our jobs being intimidated daily to speak up back then. And at this time, Chris actually lost his job, so everything was on me and this job. I needed this job so bad. Even though every day being there was like walking on eggshells, they started watching us on cameras, and I remember the CEO would stand in his office and he would stand straight in front of the monitor and just watch all the surveillance footage, like people getting coffee, people going to the bathroom, who's doing this, who's going outside for a smoke. And then we were told by the IT tech guy that they were watching our computer screens to see what we were doing. You know, just to make sure that we are actually working. Never mind the fact that they bring like $4 million a month, they could probably be working harder. The problem with the upper management really came down to greed and control. So one day I wrote down a step-by-step process of my job so that they can use it for training other people, because I just didn't have the time to do it. After that, they started treating me so poorly. I was being ignored and not being acknowledged as the upper management passes me in the hallways, and they were just downright rude. So I could feel that they were getting ready to get rid of me. Keep in mind that before the holidays, I also asked for a raise based on my job responsibilities and the average salary for my job title in my location. I got a pretty big raise that they hesitated to give me, but you know, it's my right. You should never, and let this be a lesson that if you know your value and the worth that you're bringing to a company, never be afraid to ask for a raise that is appropriate for what you're doing. It's only fair to you. So during this time, the copywriter in the office and I were chatting about how she was doing some freelance writing for this girl named Brianna, who was starting a beauty pageant at the time, and she was doing copy for the website or something. So I looked at Brianna's Instagram, and she was just like this pageant girl, and she was dating Rob Dyrdek. So I asked the copywriter, my coworker, if she can ask Brianna if she's interested in a sponsorship for her beauty pageant. I thought it would be a great change to get involved in the pageant, not to mention to have a potential spokesmodel with Rob Dyrdek's girlfriend. It seemed like a great fit. So Brianna came in for a meeting like a week after I think that she got engaged to Rob, and we had a meeting and it seemed like it went great. So I made a presentation to the CEO and he flat out said no to this opportunity. He didn't see the benefit in it, and this was where their mentality really f***ed them up, because business-wise, if they knew there would be no financial return on their investment in sponsoring this pageant, they would never do anything like this. If it weren't making money immediately, they saw no value, which is why they never hosted influencer parties or thank you events or sent gifts to influencers for their birthday or when they did well in a video, which is something I mentioned so many times to do, but they were greedy and stubborn. They saw influencers as a transaction, not as real people that you want to build genuine relationships with. So when they said no to sponsoring Brianna's pageant, I thought of a different idea. I was really tight with 2 people I worked with. I'm not gonna use their real names. I'll just call them Trisha and Shane. I watch too many tea spill channels apparently. So I thought it would be a great idea with Trish and Shane to meet with Brianna and let her know that we'd love to offer to organize her event, manage marketing, brand awareness, social media, sponsor acquisitions, graphic design, etc. So we invited Brianna to our first meeting at Granville and Sherman Oaks, and it went really amazing. She loved us, loved the ideas that we presented to her, and she said that she would talk to her fiance, Rob, Rob because he would be paying for everything. So Trisha, Shane, and I were so excited because we felt that this job opportunity was going to save us. The fact that we were all being intimidated, pushed beyond our limits, reprimanded for things that were out of our control in a place where we worked every day. We were desperate and felt so positive that this would be our way out, where we could finally feel safe enough financially to leave for our own sanity and peace of our souls. So we reached the point where it was just really scary to work for these people at this point. The environment was so hostile and the morale in the office was incredibly low. They even brought in a coach who did a company meeting to try and figure out the problem within the workplace. And then the CEO got rid of this guy and we never got the resolve because upper management didn't like what this unbiased third party had to say about their management skills and the root of why we all hated working there. There was even a day during this workshop where each person writes down like what they feel about working there. Everyone puts their paper into a bucket and every response was projected up on the screen anonymously for the whole company to see. And things like walking into this place is like walking into hell. Greedy don't care about their employees. People always looking over my shoulder when I'm working. So I can imagine as the CEO how that probably felt. They got rid of the man who they hired to fix the employees, who managed to shine a light on what the problem is. There's a lot more that I could share, but I'm gonna move on to the actual point of the story. Brianna texted us and told us that she would love to meet with us one more time, but unfortunately Rob isn't going to be able to make it. So Chase, Trish, and I were actually prepared our presentation, and Shane had the printables printed out in its nice professional folder with our rates and what we charge for our services. And so he was going to present that part, and Vanessa and I were going to discuss the marketing and brand outreach. So we all got to Crave Cafe in Studio City early to set up our laptop and our presentation, which was now a lot more formal with the graphics and examples of what we can do. We were waiting for Brianna, and to be honest, we felt so relieved and a little more chill and relaxed when she said Rob was not going to be able to make it. But I don't know if they're trying to pull a fast one on us, because who walks in but Brianna and Rob Dyrdek. I was not mentally prepared for this at all. I already have major anxieties, and I didn't have the confidence in myself or knowledge back then to mentally coach myself out of that panicked moment in a second. That moment that we all saw Rob walk in with her, the three of us didn't even have a moment to prepare or talk to each other, because at the time that we saw him, he was only about 8 feet away walking towards us, so we were like going under our breath like, what the heck? I wish at least that she told us even last minute that they were on the way, just to say, you know, oh, like Rob actually can make it, so we'll see you there. I mean, when you have people like us who are about to present our first business idea to a multi-millionaire business tycoon and star of an MTV show, it would have been nice to have a moment to gather yourself before being presented with that level of intimidation. So we introduced ourselves, and I, with a slideshow, started presenting our ideas. I showed them the ideas that we have for the pageant contestants, custom t-shirts, social media repostable content, strategies for growth and brand awareness, and all the other brand relationships that we have who we can reach out to potentially get them on board to sponsor the pageant, etc. And I'm talking to this effing business titan about how I can help him. And at this point, I start to realize that I'm the only one like bearing the grunt of this effing conversation, because Shane and Trisha are so visibly intimidated or in shock because they're not helping me out on this conversation at all. So now comes the time to talk finances. What are your services going to cost? Rob asks. So since Shane was in charge of working the numbers out, that would make sense for all of us. He pulls out the portfolio that he had professionally put together in a stack of papers of, I don't even know what, to be honest, and he hands it to Rob. Keep in mind, I have not seen this document or the numbers Shane priced us at because we were in such a rush to set up at the restaurant that we were meeting at. So I see Rob looking down at this portfolio, and he looks up to me and says, $100,000? And the best way that I can describe this feeling I had when he said that number was the same feeling that you would get riding the Guardians of Galaxy ride at Disneyland after you eat 3 hot dogs, a pizza, and a large chocolate shake. What the is this number? I thought to myself. I look towards Shane and wait for him to explain. But for the first time in his life, now he wants to stay mute. I'm waiting for Trisha to verbally help a sister out. And what do I get? Nothing. Now, It's not like I could wait around for more than 3 seconds to wait for them to jump in and help me explain and justify this ridiculous effing number. So I'm starting to realize from here on out, I am on my own. And if I reached over and asked Shane, like, why'd you put this number down? Or if I told Rob that this was the wrong number, we would look like we did not have our together. So, like an idiot, I had to try to justify why we were worth this dollar amount now. And I know how it looked to him. I could feel that he was probably thinking, well, here's another business trying to overcharge me to take advantage of me and my money. So he responds with something along the lines of, you know, this is the price that I pay people to help me run all of my businesses per year. I could also see that Brianna got extremely uncomfortable at this moment as well. And the energy of the conversation we all had at the start, which was nice, was now completely turned around. And so Rob said that he was going to look it over and think about it. In all honesty, I know that not all the responsibility was supposed to be on me. However, where we screwed up was not discussing as a group what a fair rate is for us. I just trusted. That's all of our mistake. And of course, long story short, we did not end up working with them. However, it's fine. I also want to add a side note. Now that I'm looking back, I honestly feel that I think that Rob came from humble beginnings. As I'm older now, I realize honesty is the best policy, and I really truly feel like if we were honest and said, hey, you know, to be honest, we're trying to start our own business. We're very new at this. We're willing to work with you on the price. All we're trying to do is get our feet wet, get experience, and have the financial freedom to support our family so that we can get out of a place that's so wildly toxic. I honestly feel like he might have given us a shot. But unfortunately, because of that price point, it just looked very greedy, and we just seemed like negative vibes from us, which wasn't the case. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason, and I got a funny story to tell because of it. But was it funny at the time? Let that be a lesson for most things in life, that when there are situations that embarrass you, you will eventually laugh at it later. Or cringe, you know, whichever one. The most important thing is that the story ended up happy. After I wrote my step-by-step on how I do what I do at work, they of course no longer needed me anymore, and they told me that they had a change in direction in the company, so I was laid off and I had to get unemployment. And from there, I took what I learned behind the scenes working at to start my own channel, and here I am now. I will say that the biggest lesson here is that even if you're in situations like work or school or friends, you don't feel like it's the best place in your life, you can find a way to get out of there. Not to mention, I did learn a lot from working there, and I wouldn't be where I am today without having gone through all of that. I know that no longer owned or ran by the same people, so please don't send any hate towards them. I hope that the people who were in charge before, who started a completely different company now, I hope that they finally learned how to treat their employees and see the value behind taking care of the people who work for you and keep your business alive. It's like Richard Branson says, take care of your employees and they will take care of your business. It's as simple as that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this story, and if you want me to do more story times, make sure you let me know by liking the video down below and commenting. Those are the two main ways to let me know that these videos are in high demand, because I want to create the content that you guys really want to see. So don't forget to follow us on social media. We'll have all of our links listed down below, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button to be a true D'Amour darling. If you guys missed my last video, I let you guys know that Lex is back in regular public school, so on this channel from now on, we're gonna have a blend of family content and my own channel content on here. So comment what you think of that, videos that you would like to see now that we're bringing back the old Christine D'Amour content. And also let me know if you guys or if your kids are finally back in school too. Thank you so much for watching, darlings. As always, I love you very much, and I will talk to you later. Love you, darlings. Bye. Mwah.
Be a better man for your brand new girl.